Welcome, Spartans, to Mission Debrief. We're playing every mission in the mainline Halo video game series in chronological order, discussing our experiences and sprinkling in a modicum of lore along the way. If you'd like to play along and have your thoughts read on the show, email us, podcastevolved@gmail.com, or drop us a tweet at podcastevolved on Twitter. If you like what you hear and want to support the show, visit Evolved on Patreon. This episode, we're debriefing the Outposts located in the Connections area of Halo Infinite. I'm your host, Colin Perkins, alongside David Arnold.
Hello, everybody.
And Krista Brown.
Show me your horn of abolition, eh? Yeah?
Gotta say it with enthusiasm.
No.
I don't think she wants to see my horn of abolition.
Maybe I do. I mean, come on. I'm trying to pull one over on you.
Last mission, we did the FOBs and HVTs, and we did some exploring after we learned some things. So Sierra 117 and the weapon headed towards the dig site, described by Spartan Griffin, who's dying in your arms. But we then had to secure the local FOBs and explore and defeat some banished high-value targets instead. We did that to loosen the faction's grip on Zeta Halo. Now, while we were retaking the forward operating bases, John and the weapon discover a number of key banished locations that are being used to strengthen their presence on the ring. Chief decides to blow them up. Date of the game, May 28th, 2560. Krista is going to take us through all of these outposts. So we kind of discovered them. I think they all pop up as a part of the FOB unlocks.
No, some of them you stumble on.
Some of them still don't. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's 4 of them, and Krista's going to do them in any order she wishes.
I'm going to
do the craziest order she can think of. She's going to do them all.
We're going to start with the one that's closest to the place that we were. Yeah. Crazy, right? All right, so we're going to start with the readout of Sundering, which is not too far from the tower, so very convenient to just kind of pop over there, do a cheeky outpost, and then go on your way. So the readout of Sundering is a place for prisoners to go to get kind of, I guess, processed, and then they either go to the tower or... question mark?
This place called the House of Reckoning, which the Girolani officer is talking about.
Yeah. So, as you approach this, the overall objective is to simply just free the prisoners. You don't have to do anything crazy. You don't have to
That's true.
You don't have to blow anything up unless you want to blow up the prisoners. You could definitely do that, but yeah, it's just to go in there and free the prisoners. A bunch of enemies get obviously thrown at you. Halfway through, a bunch of drop pods come down, phantoms, the normal stuff, every day. For some reason, the prisoners want to be let out before you kill everyone, which doesn't make any sense to me because they aren't targets when they're imprisoned, but what do I know?
Good point. And they can't die, can they? Didn't we talk about that?
Yeah, and until they're freed, they're pretty much invincible.
Yeah, so they're like, let me out. It's like, why do you want to come out? That doesn't make any sense. But, okay, it's fine, you can come out.
They want to fight, Krista. They want to fight.
I guess. You fight and die, whatever. So, of course, there's a bunch of snipers, brutes, the usual. With all of these outposts, mostly, they are... on lockdown when they realize you're around, so all of the gates go up and stuff like that. So you can choose.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that too. So you can choose to open the gate, or you can simply just grapple over the wall and kill them. So I usually just grapple over the wall unless there is a good reason for me to open the gates, which usually there isn't. So every once in a while, a Marine will just follow me all the way to one of these outposts. I'm like, okay, I guess you can come. All right, come on. So, me personally, I obviously always go to the top. I usually take out the snipers, then use the sniper to take out some of the brutes, and then just kind of start mopping up from there. I've been using the Mauler quite a bit, so I've been kind of rocking that a lot. Do you guys remember anything specific from your encounter with this outpost?
There's some cool things you can do. I mean, they're from the side entrance. There's a cave on your left, and you can there's a rocket launcher in there, and that's really cool. That's a really cool way to fight this mission because you get up to the top of the actual structure and can kind of shoot rockets down in. That was really cool. There's also when I first did it, I grabbed a sniper from across the way because there's a sniper very near to this, up in a high place, and I sniped a ton of dudes before I first came in to fight them. And I loved that. I loved just how the AI reacted. Everybody just legged it for cover. There are dudes with like I'm blanking on the name of it, that shoots plasma ravager, kind of like trying to lob shots at me and stuff. It was a cool fight. This time around yesterday when I did it, I tried to bring all my Marines with me. I had a ton of Marines in Warhog, and they wouldn't come through the tunnel, which is really annoying. So I had to like come down, open a door, and then bring them in that way. And then I had such a cool firefight with all these Marines, rescuing other Marines as I go. They joined in the fight. There was just so many. It felt great. It was a cool fight. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I did something similar. I did that cave entrance because there's that the Spartan core in there, so you can go find that Spartan core, and then there's an audio log right by there too. Wait, is the Spartan core in there? Or is this the audio log? Maybe it's just the audio log.
It might be just the audio log because the one that I went through had a rocket launcher in it.
Yeah, rocket launcher. Then there's an audio log, but if you're playing it again, you can't see the audio log, but it does exist in there. But then I kind of did the same thing. There is 3 sets of Marines, so they all have objectives. They're called restraint generators. That's what the terminology is. Yeah. So you have to destroy the restraint generators, and then that frees the Marines. And then once you've freed the 3rd Marine, then there's a captain that you need to go. What's he called? It's just a Marine squad leader is what it is. So then you got to go in the one building, and then there's a brute chieftain that pops up in there and take him out, and there's some jackals inside, and then you got to free the squad leader. Once you do that, then
he's a gravity hammer, right? Is that the guy I'm thinking of?
Did he have a gravity hammer?
Not that I remember. Maybe he did. I think he did, because I remember like watching all of the prisoners go towards him. I'm like, oh, okay.
Watching / letting them. Yeah, he does have a hammer. I see it on the video. Yeah.
Yeah, and he like hides in that building a little bit too, so it takes a while. He doesn't pop out. I think I used that from our previous episode. I think I did this one fairly early, so I had that gravity hammer for some of those encounters for the fobs.
That makes sense.
High value targets. Yeah. Yeah. Overall, I mean, it's pretty cool. I do like how each of the outposts, and we'll talk about it here, they all kind of have their own purpose, right? So this is the one that is for prisoner, what do you call it? Processing, right, or holding, right?
It's great. I like it a lot. I like how it ties in with different areas of the map. Like you said, we have places where these Marines get processed and go to. There's a great piece of dialogue, I'm sure you're going to say it, Colin, about these Marines are humans marked for this are not for eating. Yep. Humans marked for eating are for eating. Like it's brilliant.
So good. Yeah, and each of them have their somebody over the loudspeaker, and that was the best one I was going to read. So we have new orders from the House of Reckoning, ready 129 and 194 for transport. I don't know if that has something specific. So I'm assuming then that is 129. Would that be a prisoner, perhaps? I don't know.
You're thinking like a Spartan number or something?
Well, either that or just like the number, like as they're bringing them in. It's either, I don't know.
I'm sure they just.
I think it would be like a Marine number, like a Marine.
Yeah.
The number of
prisoner number 129.
Prisoner. Yes. Yeah, we want those two. And then that one's not that interesting. Let's see here. So then, the eating one is good, and then we have transport confirmed. Fresh meat inbound. That's another good one. And then the dialogue changes too. Like as you progress throughout the mission,
they get upset.
Like they start to say, they get pissy or something. So the loudspeaker says, "The Spartans come, secure the prisoners." He's just kind of freaking out. Defend the outpost. The redoubt of Sundering will not fall on our watch. I think that's Yep, and then he's just commenting on you essentially taking over the outpost. So so that's good. We have 2 audio logs from the UNSC and 2 audio logs from the Banished. Let's see here. So the locations for the UNSC ones, there's the tunnel I just mentioned, and then there's another one on a cliff north of the redoubt of Sundering, close to a rifle. So if you, on your map, if you put your cursor over the location, it'll tell you there's X number of Banished audio logs. I think it's two for be banished in UNSC across the entire, at least all of these ones. There's usually a Spartan core in there, but the audio logs aren't always like within the compound itself. Sometimes they're scattered around a bit. So you do have to hunt those down. They're not marked on your map, but you will hear the little notification. So we have the one in the cliff there, or in the cave, and then I said the cliff, the banished ones. Let me get to those really quick. Where did they go here? There. Okay, so this one, there's in a building. I think the banished ones might be all inside. Yeah, in a building. They're just both in buildings. So there's 2 inside there. So David's gonna play the audio for those. Let's start with the UNSC audio. We'll comment on that, and then we'll play the banished audio.
Cool.
And comment on that.
There's no way that actually worked. How did nobody see me? What if they did? Of course they did. Of course they did. I need to go to escape. Wait for nightfall. Nightfall's better. I can't leave them. But I can't save them either. Getting out was tough enough, but how in the world would I... Okay. Step 1. These shackles. Okay. Time to reevaluate step 1.
Giuseppe, if you're still out there, I could use some help. We've stumbled upon a banished prisoner processing outpost some distance south of the Reverie. If the transport traffic is any indication, you've got more than a few of our people inside. The crew I've got, well, we've run rescue ops, but not like this one. I need your help to get them out alive. I need the hell jumpers. We're running real low on both personnel and second chances. If you're alive and can respond, I'd be in your debt. Again, I know, just throw it on my tab.
So there we go. We had 2. I like them. They're nice little context to like finding stuff into the outpost. They're pretty good. So you have one in the tunnel, which is a Marine who escaped, and he's like, I can't believe I got here. How did I escape? How did no one see me? It's just pretty cool, and he's just kind of stumbling through the cave. But I like that. Like you find it in the cave, and he's kind of injured and stuff like that. So we don't really know what happened to him. But it's cool. It's context to like the area. And the other one is like last ditch effort, which is a Marine who's like, we've stumbled across a prisoner processing plant. We need help. Is anyone out there? Can anyone pick up this crew? We're running out of people. We need some hell jumpers. Please help, kind of stuff.
Yeah, ODSTs.
ODSTs, baby.
Man, where are the ODSTs, man? Oh, I guess there's no ship above to drop them into, but
They're all on the
They're
ground
just
now.
shock troopers.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
just STs.
All right. Any thoughts, Krista, about these?
I really appreciate that every single outpost kind of has a bunch of lore behind it. They could have easily just made these outposts. You go in, you do an objective, and you go out. But every outpost is unique. It has an interesting background to it. And I think these audio logs just kind of help elevate it so that they're all interesting and it doesn't feel... Because, you know, in open world games like this, doing stuff like outposts and fobs and high-value targets can feel very repetitive in a lot of different games, but I like how they've at least tried for these outposts to make them interesting and memorable, so appreciate that, and we're going to talk about that throughout this episode, really.
Yep, exactly. All right, let's do the banished ones.
Okay.
The human scourge is all but extinguished from this ring, brothers. But those who remain are persistent. Redouble your efforts. Search every cave, every derelict ship, but do not kill them. They will tell us where the others are hiding before the end. Chucklock and his machines will see to it. Soon understand my concern, Kaidam. None would question your vigilance in safeguarding the processing outpost. Nevertheless, it is insufficient. We must never forget what happened during the war. A single demon rose from the ashes of their worlds and brought the whole of the Covenant to its knees. We believed him to be dead before, but were proven wrong to our utter shame. We cannot afford to make that mistake again.
Okay, those are the banished ones. Not as interesting, but again, setting up a nice little piece of context on how the banished are looking at their outposts. These are prisoners, kind of linking to like the two areas we had before with Chucklock and the tower where he interrogates prisoners. They come from here. There's another one talking about mentioning our defenses are crap. You remember a demon came in and kicked all our asses, so we need better defenses. I don't mind these, but like the banished ones were never as interesting to me as the marine logs.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the banished have the advantage, so I think it's just less interesting because they kind of already are doing good. So it's more interesting, like, oh my gosh, how is humanity surviving this? And the banished are just like, yeah, you should find those guys and kill them, and that'd be cool.
Fair enough.
Yeah, nothing major here. It's fun to see the name drops and it kind of ties stuff together, but nothing, no real new information outside of like some deep lore stuff. Cool. All right, there we go. That is the Redoubt of Sundering. Krista, what are we gonna do next?
Oh, this one's great. It is the Horn of Abolition. It is a really, really good one. It's up to the north a little, right? Towards Outpost Tremonius.
Yeah, it's kind of on the east side. Northeastern side.
Yeah, here we go. So, this one is really fun. This is the outpost that controls all of the grunt towers throughout the map.
Yeah.
So, this is where they are sending out those signals to play those fantastically funny audio logs. Now,
so is the guy's name? It's Glibnub, right?
Glibnub.
He's the voice on those. But is Glibnub here? I never got that sense. Did you?
I don't know.
I thought he was. It sounded like he should be there, and I was kind of disappointed you don't get to see him.
Yeah.
It would be funny to see him like in a recording booth or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I want to see that.
Because the propaganda towers, as you go through the campaign, they react to what's currently going on in the ring. So he has to be somewhere on the ring in order to make the comments that he makes. So
what I'm curious to know, I don't know if you guys know this, but like after we take this place out, there's still a ton of propaganda towers. Does the dialogue change the fact that this area is gone? Or surely they're still pumping out stuff, right?
I think they're already in place, but the dialogue changes based off of like what's going on in the story.
But that's what I mean. He does, like, you come in and you take out this area, which is supposedly where the recordings are coming from. And does he not talk about the fact that that place is now gone, or should that now like shut down the towers? Do you know what I mean? I wish there was more to it. I guess we'll talk about what it is first, and then I'll come in with my thoughts.
Okay. All right, Krista, take us through it.
Okay, yeah. So, like all the other outposts, it's a walled-in place that you go to. The best part about this outpost is the grunt absolutely wailing the entire time you're trying to take over this outpost. It's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, you got the normal, you got some brutes, you got some grunts, you got some elites, you got halfway through, there's the drop pods and all that kind of fun stuff. So, I like this one because this isn't like raising the fuel cells that kind of reoccurs a couple times. This one's completely unique. There is a huge antenna at the top of the building. And so the entire thing is to open those fusion cells that are on the antenna and then bring all 4 of them down. So, of course, you have to go through the outpost and unlock some shit, and then it goes up.
There's a lockdown first.
Yeah.
So, like, you come in, and then they do put everything on lockdown. I think they must, like, do they put the tower down, like the communications
tower?
No,
I think they shut shut the doors to the main kind of hub that goes underneath it. So you take down the lockdown, and then all the doors open, and then you can go into the main room underneath the the antenna, and then you can open it.
Yeah,
So,
that's right.
and the room is full of really scary things, like the elite warlord.
Yes, and there's turrets
Hate
in there.
him. Oh yeah, those turrets. The best way to do that is there's actually a back room to that entire building, and that has the fusion coil to destroy them. So you just kind of
Yeah.
go through the back entrance.
Oh, like the little generator thing or whatever.
Yeah, the little fuse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you just go through the back entrance, and then you're completely good to go. So
Yep.
that's a good way to do it. And then of course the elite comes out and he kills you.
Yep, he does.
Because that's what he does. I was able to. He ran outside and then he ran towards the base and got stuck in a corner, and so I just grenaded him to death. It was great.
Nice.
It was much easier for me. So once you press the button, you go up top on the roof, or you can pretty much go anywhere and just take out those fusion cells, and then on the antenna, and then you're done pretty much. I do like this one because the grunt does like scream things like, "Oh my gosh, if if they take this outpost down, they'll kill me. So don't let them do that."
Yeah. What does he say here? Protect the array. If it fails, we're dead. Do you hear me? Dead. Listen to me. Send everyone. Everyone kill that stupid Spartan. Protect the array. One of the best one is our stuff. Our beautiful, expensive stuff.
That's really good.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's fantastic. I like this one a lot. It definitely is a standout between some of the other ones. So,
a lot of personality here.
yeah. So do you guys want to discuss it further? What did you guys do? How'd you guys take it on?
Yeah, I'll go quick. Pretty much the same. So that lockdown happens, you have to go like in the roof of a building to go down and push a button to release the lockdown. And then, you know, once you go further and you open the access, I guess, to the array, then like they bring in a lot of resistance from there. There's some phantoms that drop off extra brutes, and there's some drop pods that come in. There's a wave of a ton of brutes that come in that you got to deal with. And I think I was tucked in that building where the warlord was, so I just kind of let them come to me and took them out with like a needler or whatever I had handy. And then you have to get on top of the building, and there's a bunch of jackals up on top, so you have to clear them out. So I feel like there's quite a bit of resistance once you push that button. The mission's not over yet. You know, you do have to shoot the array and take down all 4, I guess, antennas, but they don't make it easy on you. David?
Yeah, I really like the layout. I really like what it was. When I first came across it and I realized what it was, that this is the controlling center for the propaganda towers, I immediately didn't go near it because I had a ton of propaganda towers I wanted to take out. And in my head, I'm like, it didn't make sense to attack here now. I wanted to take out the towers and then come here. So that's kind of what I did first. I don't know if it makes any difference whatsoever. But I like to think that it does. I'd like to think maybe it does make a difference. That the dialogue might be different if it was still alive. Like we said, is he here or not? I'm not sure. But it's a great setup. I like what it is. I like that it exists in the world. It's cool. It's a cool kind of center, and has some of the best of the Outpost kind of dialogue. Like, one of the towers is already fucked up because of like the auto log that we'll play in a minute, which I think is cool. That you see that, and you see like impacts of stuff that happened in the past here that the Marines were still fighting, and you see all that. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's do these audio logs. So we have 2 UNSC. We'll cover those. They are called, let's see, A Boon and A New Home. Is that right? No. That's the other ones. That's the banished ones.
What was I looking at? Nowhere to Hide. They are listening.
Okay, they know where to hide. Okay, take it away.
Here we go.
I've got eyes on the comms outpost. Definitely the source of the scanner sweeps. And it's well defended. We're not equipped for this.
As long as that that station is operable, there's nowhere to hide on this island. Wait, we still got that last satchel of C-12, right?
We do, but you can't take out an outpost with one explosive.
One charge is more than enough. Plant it squarely beneath the comms tower and...
And that will bury them under a few tons of rubble. Ingenious. I feel lucky you're on our side. According to the cartographic data we've scrapped together, the banished outpost Horn of Abolition. Man, these guys have a flair for the dramatic. Seems uniquely positioned as the center of their activity on this side of the ring. Judging by the sensor array they've built here, it's no wonder that they've been a step ahead of every move we've tried to make since the Reverie fell. This is how they're rounding us up. They're setting up infrastructure. The array, the comm towers. Eshrum's got eyes everywhere.
Those are really cool. Like I mentioned, I really like that the Marines are fighting against them. You see kind of the damage behind it. It's a cool little dialogue, and then another one set up of like, okay, these are important, and here's why. It also matters to like Eshram is like setting up these comms. This is why they're a step ahead, because they've such a good comm network set up. I like that. Good. It shows like the competency of the Banished, and adds like extra weight to this area, so it's not just like a comic relief. You know, I think it's cool.
Yep. Yeah, and this is another one that has some deep lore in it, because there's there's those write-ups like in the game before you access the audio log and play it. So this one mentions, at least Nowhere to Hide mentions Fixer, which has been mentioned in some previous titles. So Fixer's mentioned in Nightfall, an Oni Archive it's mentioned. So let's see here. Codename Fixer was an Office of Naval Intelligence Section 3 operative. So it's a throwback to that stuff. So
that's cool.
Cool stuff to uncover.
Good stuff. And the Banished stuff we shall play now.
4 nights ago, one of our captains discovered a pair of quivering humans hidden in the cleft of a ravine. Swift interrogation revealed they had come from a nearby Forerunner tower. Though we found no humans there, our search bore even sweeter fruit, a Forerunner resonance amplifier. With it, our outpost relays can project farther than we dreamed possible. We will find the humans still clinging to this ring, no matter how long it takes. Our grip upon this ring is tightening, and our work is nearly complete. This outpost stands as a totem of the strength of the Banished. We are many, forged into one, under the banner of mighty matriarchs. The Spartans are dead. All that remains are mere children, and soon they too will be ground into the dust of this world. As our presence extends across the surface of this ring, the signal relays about this facility will unite our forces, and this place, our new home, will at last be secured. Did not Atriox promise us that Halo would be ours? Behold, his oath is fulfilled.
Okay, so there you go, nice and tasty. So it's kind of interesting. They said like they interrogated some humans and they found forwarder tech that boosts this kind of tower structure. That's kind of interesting. I like that. And the next one kind of mentions about how important this outpost is to the strength of the Banished. It's just a bit of propaganda, really, by Eshram. Nothing too interesting there.
Yeah, I mean, he mentions Atriox, and I think
they refer to it as our new home. So I suppose that becomes important a little bit later when we figure out what, like, the context of that means more now to me than it did when I saw it at the time.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and that's a little bit at odds with what you've seen so far in the game, because remember Tremonius, he talks about, hey, we weren't supposed to be here for very long. But then Escharum talks about their home, and the Banish seem to drive. Well, and maybe this is like a Covenant thing too. But you're kind of driving your faction through words, right? Like you're trying to these speeches that Escherum's always giving, and you have the propaganda towers out there talking about how great the Banish is and how the UNSC sucks. And then you also have those Atriox towers too. That's similar, right? There's those random Atriox towers where you hear Atriox's voice and talking about the Banished and what they're here to do and all that sort of stuff. So they're just propaganda trying to make sure everybody's on the same page. Cool. 2 down, 2 to go. Krista, what are we up to next?
Awesome. The next one is the Forge of Tish. It's near Fob Charlie. This one is definitely probably the biggest one out of the 4 we're going through today. This one's huge, and it's got a lot of shit for you to do. It's got a whole lot of shit. It's got the fusion cells, and it has the repair bays for you to mess around with. This one's really cool because there's a bunch of like weapons and machines and choppers and
Is a warthog in there somewhere or 2 maybe?
Yeah, I think so. So there's a bunch of vehicles and weapons and stuff like that in this outpost. So of course you got to destroy the silos, you got to go into the repair bay, all of that fun stuff. There's a shitload of guys in this. There's so many. There's so many, and there's a lot of. I believe this one has like a hill and stuff around it, so it's a bunch of the brutes sit on top of the hill, and you might not notice, and they'll just pick you off a little bit. So be aware of that. Obviously, as you get a bit towards halfway through clearing everyone out, they obviously drop more people to kill you. Very fun. You got some punchy boys, and you got a bunch of other shit.
Did you start? Do you remember starting low? Because I started high.
I started
low the first time, but high this time.
Yeah, I started high in the cliffs and then dropped down.
Because there's like a turret. There's a shade turret there, and there's like a little cave thing that you have to climb it through to go and unlock one of the doors that you got to get to.
Yeah, I did the fuel cells first, so I went around and got all 4 of them.
Oh. I see.
And then I went and did the repair bays. So to get to one of the repair bays, you have to unlock a door, which you go through a cave. There's a gravity well, and then you're magical. Yay, you can unlock the door and destroy the bays. I don't like destroying the bays because you're in these kind of enclosed rooms, and all these enemies just kind of run at you once you start breaking them. I do appreciate how Master Chief breaks them, though. He just opens them up and punches them.
Yep.
But I like how that one punch in this one component disables the entire base.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I'm like, how
do a bit more?
hard is it going to be for them to actually repair that, though? Because it's one computer system.
And it's in the repair bay. So, like, I'm pretty sure it's salvageable.
Yeah,
but anyway.
I feel like you could have done a bit of a better job there, Chief. Just saying.
I wish, like, when it was stuff like this, that it was like this is a repair bay. This is where they're stripping down vehicles and trying to repair equipment. I think specifically they're doing it for digging. I would have liked if this was like, if some of these outposts were maybe like you could take them over. Like, wouldn't it make sense for the Marines to have a repair bay, like an area where they could repair their own vehicles, so you're not just going in and wrecking shop. But even if you are going to wreck shop, I wish it wasn't punching a thing. I wish it was setting an explosive or something. Do you know what I mean? Actually, like setting explosives in different areas. Yeah, that'd be cool. Like, I mean, okay, you're blowing up silos, but like, I think it'd be cooler if you were actually setting a physical thing and then getting out at a timer, like just to change up the gameplay, that you're doing something a little bit different. That like, if you're gonna destroy a base, so like asset denial, that you actually destroy the base. You know, just punch your computer. But whatever.
It would be cool for you to go to these outposts and literally, like, destroy them so all the buildings are broken and shit. That way when you go back towards that outpost, you see, like, just a fucking crater. You're like, hey, I did that. Awesome.
Right. Yeah.
That'd be dope.
Yeah, when you do come back to these, there are usually a couple enemies in them. They're not completely abandoned, so I guess that's good. But for the most part, they don't operate anymore.
Yeah. So, I just kind of run and gunned this. I actually had a mauler and a shotgun, and I was just kind of going through doing that. I picked some guys off at the top of the hill with a sniper, and once I used all the ammo for that, I dropped down and cleaned up the rest with that. I found this one kind of difficult. They throw a lot of enemies at you, and it's a wide open spaces, as well as like really enclosed spaces that you go between. So I found that fun. I really like blowing up the fuel cells. I think it's really fun. If you just use a sticky grenade or a spiker grenade, it just takes one, and it blows up the whole thing. It's so much fun. So I enjoy. They
blow up as they rise too, like you open it, and then it's blowing up as it's going up. It's cool.
Yeah, so I like those a lot. What did you guys think?
It's okay.
Good.
It's a good fight. Like the first time I came into this, it was probably, I think this is the first base in my original playthrough that I brought a full Razor of Marines to. And I was like, I'm going in the front door, full Razor back. I didn't have that many special weapons at the time. It's just a bunch of Marines. I opened the door, you fight a couple of enemies as you go inside, and then like there's a structure to the left and a big hill that leads you up straight in front. So I went up the front and I got wrecked immediately. There's turrets there, there's so many enemies, drop pods come in. I was like, oh man, I had to retreat back down the hill. All those Marines are dead. There's a couple of Marines that you can rescue in this base. So I was like replenishing my troops by rescuing these dudes. I had a really good fight. It was way simpler yesterday when I did it. I came in up high this time round and just shot down a whole lot. I had a lot of Marines that had sniper rifles this time round yesterday, so I had good fun with just having my Marines snipe dudes, and then I dropped down and then they followed eventually. I had a good fight.
Did you unlock the sniper already with your Valor?
Oh, I just find them on places. I'm nowhere near Valor range.
Oh, and you give them. Gotcha.
Yeah, I find them in different places.
God, you're so smart with it.
He's got a big brain.
We got special relationship in this game.
Well, I'll see a sniper. I'm like, I don't want that. I'm good. And then I just won't even think to give it to a guy that's with me. Oh, man. I did the high road this time, and I was determined to get into that turret. So it took me a couple tries to figure that out, clearing out the right amount of enemies, and there's like some snipers up top. So I had to do that enough to the point where I was able to get into the shade turret and then actually use it for a bit. But it's probably best to just destroy that shade turret, because then the Banish will use it against you eventually. I think what I did is I cleared out the entire high area first. So I did all the silos and then also the repair bays. And then I kind of moved down. I took some Marines down with me, popped in a Warthog, Marine on the turret, and then just drove around a bunch and like ran over people and had my Marines do as much as possible. At one point I crashed into the side of the wall, and like the wall fell down.
What?
Did you guys?
Yeah, there are some of these bases have like severely damaged and breakable walls.
What?
Sometimes they're like conveniently have fusion coils placed beside them. Like they're super obvious. Once you spot them, Chrissy, you can't miss them. Like they're pretty dilapidated looking walls, and you can either throw a grenade or rocket through, or just drive straight through them with enough force in a Warthog, and you can break straight into a base. There's a few of them that have that.
What?
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like, and I think they described this early on to us before we had played the games. Like they want the outpost to be able to approach them from lots of different ways, and you definitely can. But then a lot of times people just won't, like to Krista's point, she didn't even know that you could destroy that.
No.
So oftentimes like the same approach is viable for all of these. Just grapple the top, go over, open the door, and then then you're in.
The gameplay doesn't mean how you approach them maybe changes, but once you're in, it's the same gameplay. Do you know what I mean? There's no stealth. There's no like taking off different sections or doing like once you're in the base, it's just a firefight. So like it's just how you want to approach the firefight that really actually changes.
Yeah, I've never even really tried stealth, because
it's
as soon
not
as you fire
stealthable.
the weapon, it alerts everybody. Like, can you like climb in and then just like hit people from behind? I feel like it's just tough in Halo in general.
Yeah, there isn't, because like once anyone sees you for any reason whatsoever, or even like some of them times it's just if you stealth somebody, because there's no assassinations in this game, they'll just immediately know you. Everybody's alerted, and that's that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a loudspeaker. Let's see here. Nothing super exciting on the loudspeaker. Just, like kill him, peel him from his armor, all the banished stuff. And then the weapon is kind of taking you around as you're doing stuff. She's like, okay, there's another silo, and now we gotta go get this other thing. So she just directs you around more or less. So not great dialogue from that. I mean, it's fine, it's good, but it's nothing, no standouts. Okay, audio logs here, 2 and 2 again. Let's start with the UNSC.
All right.
What are you seeing up there?
This outpost. It's a production facility of some sort. Looks like it's primarily for material and... Hold! Armored convoy coming from the north.
Move! Clear the path! Make way for the war chief!
Escherum.
And some kind of entourage. Back from the dig site. Hang on. Third from the back. Is that a banished species you recognize?
Negative, ma'am. That's a new one. The data I'm sending is the best I can get at this distance, but a hole this size can probably be seen from space. The Banished are after something, and that something must be underground because they're spending a ton of resources on these excavations. But something's bugging me. Back on Infinity, the Oni reports mentioned that Zeta was different from the other rings, but it wasn't clear how. Whatever it is, that has to be what the Banished are after. Something that makes it special, powerful, dangerous.
Okay. These two are pretty simple. You have the ally, which is kind of interesting looking back on it. So you have some Marines that are scouting this base. They figure out what it's for, and they know it's a convoy which has Escherum in it, and he also has a weird race that they haven't recognized before. And they just say, "Oh, what's this? Interesting." So I instantly forgot about this.
Yeah.
It's
the write-up, it says, the last thing we expect to find here was a new species, especially one allied with the Banished.
Yeah, they don't really delve into that. But anyway, the next one is just about kind of, okay, this is where I was getting the dig site stuff from. So it's just referencing the fact that this base is supporting the dig site, which is like your main objective in this area, which you probably haven't done yet.
Or you did, and you came back here and found out the stuff later.
Yeah, that too.
Yep. We have not done it.
Anything else to add to these guys?
I don't think so. No.
Yeah. Okay.
Good stuff. Good stuff. I like the teaser of the new thing. All right, let's do Banished.
Yep.
I do not understand the infatuation with these skittering thrust bugs, brother. The skimmers present more nuisance than aid to our efforts. I am convinced they, much like their leader, have their own agenda. What's more, they look at me strangely with their damnable hold eyes and the smell like a plague-ridden foreign beast. When our goals are achieved, I pray Escherum sees fit to discard this alliance. Directors, I found your report on the hollows beneath the candidate excavation site to be promising. Our ally agrees, but she is skeptical of our methods and wishes to inspect the site herself. See that she has little cause for concern. Succeed in unearthing this ring's secrets, and you will find glory. I need not remind you of the consequences of failure.
Okay, the Banished ones this time are a little bit more interesting. So I don't remember Damnable Eyes at all, which pretty much calls out this race and gives them a proper description and how
And a
like
name.
and a name, which is kind of interesting. So the skimmers are mentioned here, kind of describe that they don't really like them, which is pretty interesting, and they have a bad smell, which we already know because Cortana told us. I think, did she tell us here? No, it's probably later.
No, that was just the Banished.
Was it just the Banished in
mentioned
general?
that before,
Alright, okay.
And they call them, so there's this race called the Skimmers, which we haven't seen yet, and they call their actual race name is the Gazgira.
Ooh.
Oh shit!
It's in the write-up.
Is it now? Interesting. That's cool. The Gazgira. Oh, I see that. That's cool. The next one then is Secrets Below. This is kind of hinting at, again, the dig site that's happening, and that the ally, they found the location they want to dig, but she is skeptical and wants to inspect the site herself. So this is just teetering on building up some of the stuff that's happening in the background with the main characters.
Yep.
Okay, that's it.
Very mysterious at this point in the game, but we'll find out more.
Ooh, spooky.
Ooh, spooky
Spooky, mysterious. All right, one more.
One more. This one's really fun, actually. This is the Armory of Reckoning. And if you don't get the hint by the name, this is a armory, weapons depot. They have 3D printers that make ammo.
These are the things that should have been all over this map.
I know.
I don't understand why they keep them here, but it's cool. It makes sense. This is how they exist. This is why we have the things we have in the game.
Yeah, so they're 3D printing ammo, and of course, since it's an armory, it is just full of weapons. There's so many weapons in here. That's so much fun. It's not even that difficult of a fight at all. There's some...
No, it's super easy.
Yeah, there's some high-level brutes and stuff like that. I honestly wish they would have thrown more at you at this one, because there's just so much stuff. I wish there was a couple more waves of enemies than there actually is. But the entire thing is to destroy these 3D printers that make ammo.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I wish this was an objective of you capturing them and bringing them to Fobs or something, or bringing them back to Tremonius. So, like,
loading it into the back of a Razorback.
Yeah, like, here's a lore reason why we can print weapons everywhere. Do you know what I mean? Here's the reason why the crates at your at the Fobs exist.
Yeah,
I think
right.
this is a missed opportunity for me, but a cool fight, like Krista says, nice and simple. Go in and wreck some dudes and get some guns.
So there's about 3 different printers. 2 of them are literally just out in the open, like just sitting there. The third one is actually hidden underground, and you take that one out, and then you get a nice surprise. You get a gravity lift up into the armory room, which literally has like multiple copies of every weapon in the game.
Yeah,
so
it's great.
You take
all the facts, so the UNSC and
banished. There isn't any
no
Forerunner weapons,
stuff.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you literally just can take whatever you want, and then the final wave of enemies is probably, sitting outside that building, and you just go ham, and you have lots of fun. I really liked this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it was more interesting. It wasn't all enclosed, right? Like, I feel like I drove in from like a road in the middle of the area.
It is, yeah. And there's like a building with like a walkway above it leading over the road, which is interesting. But then like it's an armory. It is not very well defended whatsoever. It is so open. It's so at odds with like the repair bay we just took out and talked about. Do you know what I mean? Of like the levels of security, and I don't know. It just seems an unusual setup.
Yeah, it's kind of on a cliffside, I guess, mountainside area, but
I guess
it's kind of right in the middle of the map.
I guess they think that they have all the weapons, they don't have to worry about it as much. I did notice most of the enemies that are at this base have the higher level weapons with them, which I thought was a nice touch, but
oh, I didn't notice that. That's cool.
Yeah, they have more rockets and stuff like that.
It does make sense, I guess, from a I don't know, distribution standpoint, that it would be in the middle of the map. Like, I feel like if it wanted to be well defended, it would be like up on the corner on the mountain or something like that. But then it would be hard to distribute all that stuff. So it makes sense that it's kind of in the middle. But anywho, let me see if there's any good dialogue. Just talking about production. Esherim demands a 50% increase in our production pace. So talking about that, yelling at plebes and whatnot. Defend the armory. Our lives are in forfeit. Oh, so when they see Chief, they ask, "How is he alive? How? If the armory falls, I'll kill you all myself. Fight. Your honor is at stake. Slay the Spartan. End this siege." Just banished dialogue. Good stuff. Cool. Let's do some audio logs.
Woo!
Anyone on this frequency? frequency and any UNSC personnel in range. I was sent here to recon this outpost. Intel inaccurately claimed it abandoned. Upon arrival, I took shelter in a nearby lifeboat, but now I'm...
Our production efforts move apace, but the war chief has... You smell that, brother?
Anyone? Please, send help.
That's human flesh. That's fear.
Spartan, my team and I were doubling back along the northern ridge line when we came across another banished outpost. Sending you coordinates now. Its purpose appears to be weapon production or maintenance, but it's hard to say for certain. What is certain is that it's heavily patrolled. Only way we could do any damage here is with a full squad of Spartans, and, well, that's not a luxury we have anymore.
Okay, these two are pretty cool. So miscommunications is pretty terrible. So a Marine was sent to investigate an area that was supposed to be empty, fell into a drop pod, and then got captured by two brutes. So it was pretty kind of cool the way it's set up and told. And then I don't think there's any Marines to rescue in this base, is there? I'm not sure.
No, I don't remember any.
Yeah,
No.
it'd be cool if it linked, but it didn't seem to be. So she's dead. The next one then is again first with Lieutenant Floyd, who's scouting a base. He says, "We're doubling back. We found sending the coordinates. He's sending it to the Spartans to say, come and take this out. It's heavily patrolled." And he said, "We need a full squad of Spartans to damage this, and we don't have a luxury anymore." So they don't do nothing.
And you said this is from Floyd, who seems to be recurring in these, right?
Yeah, I've copied his name there in the last few. It's funny the information you miss when you're not reading these.
Yeah, right.
Just
Yeah, you
picking
can
them up and
absorb
listening
it,
to
but
the
then
game. Yeah,
seeing like the
but even then, like,
captioning
it's like
and seeing it written.
yeah, I was never reading any of the little blurbs that are in the menus because I would pick them up and I play them straight away in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the banished ones we shall do now.
Don't know how you're doing, Pop Fun, but it's been rough on my end. We're running out of humans to skin rip, so the rank and file's getting a little bored. Brutes, though, they don't get bored. They get mad. Last night, a group of 6, maybe 20, I think 6 brutes, decided that they should be in charge of the camp. Maybe the whole banished. And then the chieftain smashed all their faces. No change in management, but hey, lots more meat on the menu, so that's nice. All this weapon carrying and battle dodging has got me missing home. When all we worried about was keeping good marks at the Nipple Academy. Things was easier when we were all shooting humans.
We banished have faced many challenges and overcome them all. The yoke of the Covenant, the resistance of humanity. Our warriors grow restless, and now I hear word that some amongst our ranks believe themselves more deserving of status, renown, and adulation. Remind your troops of their place. Tighten your grip. Control your forces. Or I will find someone who can.
Okay, so these two are kind of interesting. Where they're pretty much telling you that like things are not good in this outpost amongst the banished. There's a bit of unrest and stuff like that going on, which I think is really interesting. It doesn't really come into play anywhere else in the game, but it's kind of cool to see that like not all the forces are even. So like the first one is about like a grunt saying like, "Oh crap, we're running out of humans to kind of skin rip," he calls, which is not nice, and that the brutes are getting kind of restless, which is not a good thing to be. And then other chieftains came in and beat the crap out of them, and now they're eating them, eating the other brutes that probably died there, which is weird, but okay. Pretty dark. Then we have a warning, which is Eshram pretty much warning the leader of this base, saying, "Cop yourselves on, get better, stop being stupid."
Yeah, more or less. Very cool. All right, we did it. We did 4. Krista, which is the best one?
I still like the comm station. That one's still my favorite.
The horn.
Yeah, the horn. It's so good. It's so funny. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, David, how about you?
It's either this one or the one with the prisoners, the Reckoning. I had a lot of
I like
fun doing
one.
that.
Mm-hmm. I had the hardest time with the Horn of Abolition for whatever reason. I felt like that last wave they dropped in was a pain in the ass. But then the Forge of Tish was the biggest, and it had the most to do. And that one had some like interesting things with the cave system and whatnot. So I'm gonna go with the Forge and blowing up those silos and stuff. That was cool. All right, we have done it. Although we need to hear from our community, and we have a community question.
Oh no!
Where do you want to go first, Colin?
On the Discord. Are you both ready?
Yeah,
Do I not
I'm
need
ready.
to stall?
I'm both ready.
We're both ready.
I think there was a ton on Facebook, so we'll start with Discord.
Okay, cool. All right, this was actually posted yesterday. Banished, Outpost, Snipe, Sneak, or Leroy Jenkins. Do people still get that reference?
I wonder.
Is that a?
Well,
I don't know.
Is that still?
It's 15 years old at this point.
But it's so pervasive.
Yeah, but most gamers are 14 years old, Colin, so like, or younger.
They're 12. I thought they were all 12.
Yeah, they're all 12, yeah.
So, question for Mission Debrief, Halo Infinite, Connections, OWA. So, we have put a poll, so Snipe, Sneak, or Leroy Jenkins. We got 2 Snipe, 3 Sneaks, and 6 Leroy Jenkins here in the Discord. I'll read a couple of these comments. There's quite a bit. So Jedi Spartan 38 says, sometimes I try to be subtle, but unless I've got the bandana activated for unlimited sniper rounds, I usually give up and go in all guns blazing, which defines my playstyle most games, with my RTS tactics devolving into cutter shouting all units, and my love of Vanguard's biotic charge when playing Mass Effect 2 and 3. So, Chad Dead says, hell yeah, for full Leroy. I always clear the local FOBs and then load up a Razorback full of Marines with Sentinel beams and rockets and then literally charge in and level the place. If I lose a few Marines along the way, there's always more Marine prisoners in those camps to restock. DeSudo says, assuming it's not easy or normal, it's a combination of sneaky and snipey. And, of course, there is there's an article telling us that Leroy Jenkins is 15 years old now, so we all feel very disappointed now. So our childhood is all ruined. So that's about it for the Discord.
All right. So one thing I didn't mention, that these became easier once I unlocked all the high-value targets. I think I mentioned that in the high-value targets episode, is that when you use those weapons that you unlock, driving in just makes all this stuff way easier with a bunch of Marines.
Yeah, it does. It does for sure.
Yeah. And it's not necessarily like Leroy. Like, if you want to talk about the meme, Leroy is like, okay, here's my team, and we're gonna make this good plan, and then that fucker's going in by himself. God damn it. So it was like, it's a little bit of that. Like, the plans don't go as planned. It was either that or like going in like Rambo, right? But they're still a little bit different, right? Rambo is like, you got everything, you're locked and loaded, you're going in, you're just gonna kill everybody. Leroy is things don't go as planned because somebody's going off on their own.
I think the kids these days might call it YOLO it.
I guess so.
I thought about YOLO. That was the other one. Yeah,
I'm glad you didn't call
it. And then Leroy. They're all a little bit different, but all right. What about Facebook?
So we have the Books of Face. Colin Perkins, admin, yesterday at 7:15 a.m. Early shit, Colin. I wonder, is that my
For
Facebook
you.
time? Yeah, it probably displaying my Facebook time, is it?
Yeah.
Hot diggity. Banished, Outposts, Snipe, Sneak, or Leroy Jenkins? Question for Mission Debrief, Halo Infinite, Connections, OWA. Close bracket, open world area. There we go. We have a ton of stuff. Dickie Lee says the Leroyist of Jenkins. Luke, tend to sneak. I think it's possible to get overwhelmed by enemies and die in heroic pretty easily. That's true. Clyde says, me on my way to beat down some screaming groans. He has a spaceman on a rocket. Garrett says, Leroy motherfucking Jenkins. Jonty says, I mix it up a bit. Usually I head into the FOB first, prep, hand back with a sniper team, and then bust this and go Rambo. Patrick says mostly it's try to sneak, get spotted, then say fuck it and run back to the FOB and get a scorpion. That's pretty cool. Randy says easy Leroy, normal sneak, heroic snipe, legendary cry. That's pretty good. Very nice, Randy. I like it. Preston says, get a bunch of Marines and go in, guns blazing, which is hella fun. Lucas, I get a bunch of Marines with sentinel beams, and then we do Leroy Jenkins. Brad says, attack on Titan style, grappling hook and sword. Very nice. Nathan says, easy, Razorback full of Marines with beams, one with a sniper. It says normal, see above, heroic, see above, legendary, see above. Nicely done. Brad. Well, first you have to scout out the location, locate possible entry points. I like this is what I do too, and approaches. Definitely the first time around. Look for snipers and mounted gun positions. Locate any trapped reinforcements that can be freed, and fall back. Grab 9 Marine buddies, charge that fucking gate screaming praise to our Irish Spirit King. That's me! And slaughter every Xeno scum that dares to raise a weapon of defiance in our holy crusade. Oh wait, that's Warhammer. That's pretty good, Brad. I like it. Steve Fox says Leroy Jenkins with a volatile skewer Marines in the Razorback. That's mental. You can stay away. You can stay way far back, and they'll arc the shots like a defense platform. That's really dope. I like that. Alexander says attempt to sneak like I'm playing Skyrim. Fail snipe with 2 shots because I couldn't find any more ammo, and then Leroy Jenkins with half mag of AR and a fist. Nicely done. Matthew says nuclear option always, and finally Ben says literally all 3. Good responses, guys. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that was good. Oh, Leroy. I hope that sticks around forever. Come on.
I mean, he has like a statue in World of Warcraft now, so.
I'm going to go teach my boys what Leroy Jenkins is right now.
Oh my
right
god,
do
tell
that,
us how
Colin.
it goes. I need to know.
Show them the YouTube video and explain to them what's happening.
Yep. All right, that'll do it for our debriefing of the Outposts located in Connections from Halo Infinite. On the next episode, we'll be wrapping up our coverage of Connections. Oof, there'll be 3 episodes on this. This is the biggest chunk, biggest open world area. And there are many UNSC distress signals, so we'll figure out how to cover those. And any Easter eggs, skulls and Easter eggs, and all the other goodies that we didn't talk about yet. Send us your thoughts at podcastevolved@gmail.com or drop us a tweet at podcastevolved on Twitter. You can also support the show by visiting Evolved on Patreon. Until next time,
Evolve.
Evolve.